day 2 of Grand Slam Jamaica is in the books. And if you actually watched it live, then you should know by now why Michael Johnson actually had to create this league to begin with. To set the stage, day 2 kicked off after the Miramar Invitational went down in Florida. Some of the biggest names in the sport, I'm talking Julian Alfred, Shericka Jackson, and there was even a Kashane Thompson sighting. All of that happened in Miramar. But if you actually watched that meet for any length of time, you can realize that the product that was, no shade, just being honest, the product that they delivered as a Continental Tour Gold event was nothing like what you got from Grand Slam. Although it wasn't a sellout, the Jamaican fans definitely showed up, and the athletes came to compete, and we even got some upsets. So if you actually like track, again, I'm gonna be very clear, if you like the sport of track, because some people really don't like it. They think they do, but they really don't. They might just like one event, normally something like short sprints or something. But if you actually like the sport, which is a whole lot of people, Grand Slam track is officially where it's at. So going forward, I'm not just gonna recap day 2. I'm gonna give it to you entirely organic and entirely raw. I'm doing all of this off of memory because I watched the event live and it was entertaining enough where I'm pretty sure that even without looking anything up, I can tell you why you probably need to make it your business to tune in on day 3. So here we go. The action kicked off, as far as I remember, in the men's 110 hurdles, where Dylan Beard, who is a challenger, and as far as I know, he's a challenger who got added to the field like pretty late in the game. Like he really wasn't even supposed to be there. He showed up and won the 110 hurdles. And considering all the conversation that there's been about the prize money, I'm not going to bring it up much, but I am going to bring it up right now. That money, like any of the money that an athlete could win, even if you got last place, is going to make a difference to an athlete like him. Because there are a whole lot of athletes who are like that second rate, like especially if you're American, where you're good enough to even make like a USA championship or an Olympic trials final. You probably ran some really fast times and some one-off meets here and there. But when it comes time to like make it to the games, to have a shot to get a medal, you can end up on, I guess, the wrong side of the ledger. And if you do, then it's really hard to not just make money in the sport, but even get a pro contract. But hey, Grand Slam track doesn't care about that because the lanes on the track don't discriminate. Either you're fast or you're not. And Dylan Beard just proved that. And as far as the women's 100 hurdles go, we also got another upset because Tia Jones, who is also a challenger, took out a field that has a whole bunch of women who are incredibly decorated. We're talking like an Olympic final level field for the most part. And she got the victory. The times don't really matter because that wasn't supposed to happen. The short distance events on the women's side and the men's side were both very competitive. But specifically speaking, the men's 1500 gave us the Olympic podium showing up to compete. And after all of that, none of those 3 men actually got the victory because the pace got slowed down just slow enough for Emmanuel Wanyonyi, who was an Olympic champion himself, but in the 800. He got the victory. It went all the way down to the line, but he still won it convincingly. So to reiterate, if you actually like competition, they are delivering. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section because I try to read them all. And then there was the men's 200. But technically speaking, we got to watch it twice. I'll explain. Because there's a long sprint group and a short sprint group, so they both went out there and competed. In the long sprint group, Matthew Hudson-Smith got the victory. Again, the time doesn't really matter that much because there's a point scoring system. And that victory was enough to get him the entire victory for the slam. So hey, a bunch of money's going home with him. But in the short sprints, I don't think anybody really doubted that Kenny Bednarek was going to win the 200. I mean, the 100 was up for grabs, and he got that one. So the 200, yeah, he ran away with it. But if you keep looking behind him, we still got to watch the athletes go out there and compete. Because everybody ran hard. If you consider what happened to Fred Curley in the 100, where flat out, he just didn't perform well. He got 7th out of 8 men on the line. He came off that turn and made me a believer that he might even hold on for second place. That said, Jarnell Hughes is legit and took care of business. So all 4 of the racers proved why they have that title. Because they still went 1, 2, 3, 4 when it was all done. And that's even with Fred Curley finishing all the way down in the pack in his first race of the meet. When the women's 100 went off, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden reminded everybody why she is an Olympic bronze medalist in that event. The only 2 women on the planet who beat her in that event aren't on the starting line. For the record, one of them was actually in Miramar. Just saying. So yeah, she got the victory. But she's gonna have to come back tomorrow and run her first 200-meter dash that we've ever seen her run in like the past 3 years, because I don't think she's ever run it since she left college. And coming back for the second event is a very big deal, because Gabby Thomas proved why the 2-event model, which, hey, you can say what you want, but it does give us some entertaining moments. Because when else are we gonna get to see Gabby Thomas, Sawa Eid Nasser, and Mara Lady Paulino run an open 400 like it actually matters, because it does matter for their bank accounts. Nasser went out there and proved that she's not just legitimate, but that you're not going to win a world championship this year if you can't go through her, because she ran incredibly fast, dropping a 48.6 if I remember correctly. And I think that's kind of what threw off Paulino, and that makes sense because she was my pick to win the 400, and I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people had her. And when she got second in the 200, I thought it was a foregone conclusion that she was going to win the entire slam. But Gabby Thomas was not having it. She came off that final turn and pushed her way home, edging out Paulino. These are the moments that if you actually like the sport, this is what you want to see. You want to see the stars go at it. And that's what we got delivered. And I'm even going to check myself, because I admit that when Gabby Thomas went up to the long sprints group, I didn't really know what to expect, especially from the 400. But boy, did she prove me wrong. The thing about Grand Slam track that a lot of people are still waking up to is you have to understand what the alternatives are. For the athletes who didn't show up, I get it. I totally understand about their training systems and all of that. But if you're running somewhere else, like that was not Grand Slam track, it was a totally different experience doing that compared to showing up at the slams. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The way the slams are set up right now, they are essentially a boxing ring. For that matter, it's like a whole sparring match where if you think that you have talent and you are one of the best, you get invited to come into the ring and throw hands. But somebody's likely going to get knocked out when it's all over. And if you're not careful, it just might be you. All the athletes get paid very well, at least for this sport, to put on a good show. And the fans get exactly what we want to see. And again, when I say the fans, I'm not talking about casual fans for a moment, because Grand Slam track doesn't need all the casual fans right at this moment. We just need people who actually like the sport and want to see talented athletes go out there and compete to pay attention, because that's how you build a league. I've got to say this part because I don't think everybody understands, and we can talk about it in the comments. As far as I know, the way you build a league is as follows. You first have to build a product, and then you have to figure out which people want that product. In this case, there are a bunch of people who enjoy track and want to see it competed at a high level. They'll watch it at the Olympics and don't have anything else to watch. Again, at a high level. But Grand Slam track right now is not necessarily going for all the casual fans. Like, yes, they want those people, but you don't start there. All the other leagues, UFC, whoever else it was, you got to get people who actually like that thing to get on board. Like, they got to get on the bandwagon first. And then you start tinkering with the model, figuring out how you can amp it up, take it to another level. Somewhere in there, it gets bigger and bigger, where people who are a little bit more on the fringes, like they still like the sport, but, not the type of people who have a Flow Track subscription, or wouldn't even think about getting Peacock to watch the meets yet. Like, those people start stumbling into it and being like, you know what, this is actually pretty entertaining. And eventually, you get to a moment where all the people who are like way more casual start noticing. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't checking for UFC at all. To the fact that I've even watched even one match, for that matter, an entire season of The Ultimate Fighter, that is proof that when enough people who actually like it get on board, you can get the people all the way on the fringes to eventually pay attention. So with one more day of competition in this slam to go, this is the new normal. Grand Slam track is here, and I don't believe it's going anywhere. We haven't ever seen anything like this. Even if it's going to take the track community a little bit more time to realize that just like all the other sports, we can have nice things too. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.